people, everyone. It's so good to see you tonight. I'm so excited about this call. I asked Jennifer ages ago, and I'll give you the scoop about why. It's nice to see you all. Remember the rules, please. Chat amongst yourselves as you always do. If you have a question that you would like me to filter through to Jennifer, please type in big caps at the beginning of your question. Otherwise, I will assume you're chatting about your neighbors and your kids and gossiping, and I will ignore it. If you have a question, please make it quirky. You know my rules. Anything you need to learn about the audiobook industry and all that, it's lovely, it's important. You can Google it. There are a million webinars. There are hundreds of coaches out there and podcasts. I want the good stuff. I want, does Jennifer wear mismatched socks stuff? I'm hoping Barbara's on here. Barbara, I'm counting on you, friend. I want the juicy stuff. So think before you ask the question, is this something that like I can't learn anywhere else with a quick Google search? Okay. So, hi, Lauren, good to see you, good to see you. Okay, so it's so exciting. So this is why I asked, aside from her being bright and sparkly and a lovely, interesting, fun person, this is why I asked Jennifer on this call. Jennifer, as you all know, I'm at the stage in my life where I am questioning everything I've ever been told and kind of deciding for myself what I think about the world. And the thing about having confidence, and I consider myself a feminist, although I was in burlesque, and I think that's a very feminist thing to do. I've been thinking a lot lately, a lot about the messages we're given as women. And the way we're told as women, and this is not against any, male, female, it's hard not to generalize in a way, but the role models that I was given when I grew up were that you could be confident, but don't be selfish. So you had to, anytime you gave yourself credit for something or asked for something, you had to be self-deprecating because you would hurt other people's feelings. And that was a very strong message through my life as somebody with a loud voice that was born with my father's personality and wasn't feminine and caring and nurturing. I'm not someone you can come to for a shoulder to cry on. I'm going to tell you what to do to solve the problem. So I never fit into the female, that role. And Jennifer kind of blew me away. You really did. I think it's amazing. I've been thinking about it ever since. And to be honest, the more I've gotten to know you, the more I've thought about it, because I think that the core of sometimes when women get jealous of each other, a lot of people, a lot of friends that come to me, they come to me because this job can be hard and you have to have a tough skin, and insecurity is a thing, and it's an easy thing to fall into, comparisonitis, and no matter how, and you try so hard. The women I know are working so hard, they're literally almost killing themselves, and I still get messages, at least 3 or 4 a week, with people in one version or another saying, I'm trying so hard, why am I not doing as well as everyone else? So Jennifer came on a call, Anna Clements, I think, set us up. I think she reached out to you as well. She reached out to me. And Jennifer did this thing that goes against what we're told to do as women. As women, we're told not to take credit for things and not to look like we're stepping on people's feet. It's a big thing. Don't step on people's feet and always be aware of other people's feelings. And they did some poster or something to advertise the call, and they got it wrong. I think it was my name they misspelled or something. And they were like, oh, and while and this kind of thing happens all the time. And while they're waiting to do it, I think 3.5 minutes later, Jennifer posted all over social media, she'd fixed it. She just went ahead and fixed it. She wasn't the person setting up the conference. She wasn't the person running it. She wasn't in charge. She just fixed it, which is the kind of thing that I would love to do. I would love to just fix it and do it and get it on with. But I was a bit kind of shocked. I was like, God, is Jennifer running the thing? Or, and the more I've thought about it, and I've changed over this past year since that happened, and I've realized, hold on, real me, genuine me, my first instinct would be just fix it. Why would anyone be upset about that? Right? And I realized in knowing you and seeing your social media interaction and the fact that you got on the call and, you know, you work hard to become a narrator. And we walk around with, as I know, recently Audible took down a whole bunch of my books, everyone's books with like a glitch, but it pissed me off. You walk around with this like number on your forehead, 150 audiobooks, 180 audiobooks. This is my spot in the play group. I'm 150 and they're 20 and they're 5. And Jennifer went on and said, oh, I haven't done very many books, but I just get hired by publishers every 3 minutes. And that would have been enough for us to want to murder you, right? But then you said, and I'm completely new, and I'm completely respectful of the people that have done this and this, and I'm really lucky, and this is what I'm doing. And I love that about you, because you are not self-deprecating. And I'm really curious and interested in how you navigate that in the world as a woman, as a confident person, because how many men do you know on every post where they put out, I've done this, I'm up for this great reward. How many men do you know that go, but it's not really a lot, or I never post this stuff, but or just this once, I'm gonna say I did this little thing. I'm sorry, why do we do that? If Jennifer does something amazing, if Jennifer's got 800 publishers and she's only started 2 months ago, I'm obviously right, then that means that there's a way to get 800 publishers. So tell me more. Not, oh my God, she's not, knowing her. Jennifer doesn't know her place. And I've been fighting knowing my place my entire life. And it's the thing I love the most about you. And I want you tonight to tell me where you came from, how you grew up, what 10-year-old Jennifer learned that made you the person that isn't afraid now. So,
wow. Wow.
That, hi.
That's so amazing, Danielle. I mean, what a so wonderful, all the thoughts. I mean, so many thoughts came to my mind when you were talking. I grew up in Southern California, really healthy childhood, just me and my sister. But I will tell you, I was a lot of a loner, like in school. I wasn't in the cliques or anything like that. I thought I was very mature for my age, because I just remember things in school, like where I remember this one popular girl had a birthday party and she handed out an invitation to everyone but me on purpose, right? And then it was time, I don't know, a month or two later, it was my birthday party and I handed everyone an invitation, including her, right? And the look on her face, I remember this, the look on her face was so shocked. She actually said, why are you inviting me? Because I'm inviting everyone, so it wasn't, I think I was practicing don't get offended, don't take things personally at a young age and didn't know it.
Do you think your parents gave you confidence and that put other kids off because people without confidence are uncomfortable around people with confidence?
You know what? That's a good question.
She didn't put question here, but we have to ask you. Lynn wants to know, and so do I. Did she come to the party?
Yes, she did. And we became friends. And we became friends because, it's really strange. I mean, even throughout college, I remember in college, a high school, someone I knew someone I didn't know in high school came up to me and said, you know what, in high school, I really hated you, but I didn't know you. And now I got to know you and you're really nice.
They admitted, I didn't know you, but I hated you. Yes. How do you hate someone you don't know?
Either jealousy, I don't know. Her scenario was different. I think her boyfriend had a crush on me and she knew it. So I think she hated me because of that, which is understandable. That's, a specific situation.
Okay.
But I do get that, like, people like to judge without really knowing you. And then when they get to know you, they find out, oh, wow, it's different. And so I think, I don't know why we're so judgmental, but I think I grew up with people judging me and I had to get used to it. I had to get used to people not liking me, and not take it
I think your
personally.
confidence scares people.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Did I grow up? I don't know if my parents raised me to be confident. I think me and my sister are very opposite. So we were raised by the same parents. So like her interests are different, and our paths in life are very different. So it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Do we learn confidence? Are we innately confident? I think that's a really good question.
I think we have it and it's taken away from us. And I think you might have been lucky that your parents didn't take it away from you. They don't do it on purpose, but I'm working this out as we're speaking, but I think it stems from people that are insecure, feel threatened. Like people that don't feel successful feel threatened by people. When we lived in LA, my sister had a really nice car and it used to be egged all the time.
Oh.
But I had a horrible car and nobody ever touched it once. But I think people are intimidated by something that they don't feel they can get. And they try to take it away from other people to make themselves feel bigger. And I think that if you were raised without any hangups like that, I'm sure you have other hangups, which we'll get into later in the call, but just kidding, not to scare the cast. But everyone has some hangups, but the not being self-deprecating is big. It's massive. And I think it is a female thing. You're raised to believe that you have to. What about your parents? Did your parents have familiar models like that, or was your mother quite a strong woman? Did you see an example of?
I would say so. My mom, worked a full-time job, but both my parents worked really hard. I was born in the Philippines and then came here when I was 1. I was a baby. My mom came by herself and on the first day found a job in an apartment. And then 2 months later, my dad came and brought me and my baby sister. We were both babies. And so just hardworking parents. So yeah, my mom was, I believe, definitely a strong female figure in my household.
Wait, did you say the Philippines?
Yes.
I have a weird thing with is it Tagalog?
Tagalog.
Tagalog. When I was a little
Mm-hmm.
girl in school, really randomly, they had a class on that. And I fell like obsessively in love with it. And then every single person I met, like I had a boss that was from the Philippines, was like my best friend in the entire world. Like I had like this weird connection with the Philippines. Like I just instantly someday I need to go there.
Oh, you would love it. You would love it. I want to go back. I've only been there once since I was born. But yeah, and Tagalog is very similar to Spanish because we were under Spain rule for 400 years. So a lot of things, like especially the nouns like zapatos, pantalones, camisita, it's all the same thing. Exactly. Yes. Spanish and Tagalog.
I'm fascinated by that culture. And it's just randomly, I think I was like 8. And I just thought it was like the best thing I'd ever heard of in my entire life. I was obsessed. So we've got confidence. I see somebody starting to type a question. Tell us about you. Ooh, your audition for Twin Peaks. Good question. Thank you, Marnie. Tell us about your audition for Twin Peaks.
So I had this was a long time ago. I just graduated from UCLA. I just signed with a manager. And this was my very first audition for an acting job. It was an interview with director Leslie Glatter, who is now she's directs for a lot of TV shows. And it was an interview and I had to do the scene for her. I met David Lynch in the elevator, but my interview wasn't with him because he wasn't directing this episode. Leslie Glatter was directing the episode. So I briefly met him. And then I ended up booking it, and I worked my very first job on this on the show, and it was just such a wonderful experience. It was a lot of fun on the set. Leslie Glatter, who was directing, she was a former dancer, and I was a dancer too. I was on the UCLA dance team, so we would dance. She fell down and did the splits on the set, and then I got to Michael Aquino and Kyle MacLachlan and oh my gosh, who was my husband? I totally forgot his name.
Wait, not your husband's name.
Well, my husband on the show. I played Dr. Jacoby's wife. I played the young Hawaiian wife of Dr. Jacoby. And Russ Tamlin. That was his. He was on West Side Story. He was one of the Jets in West Side Story. So
you're a girl with stars in your eyes, huh? Coming like this.
Well, I didn't know at the time that it was such a hot show. So it was luck, and it was just a lot of fun. And I was really grateful that my first experience on a set was a positive one, because I hear mixed things. I mean, I've worked on sets where the stars were not very friendly and welcoming to me, and it happens, but I still go on and do my job and have fun, but yeah. I was just really grateful that it was. So that's my story of the whole thing with Twin Peaks. It was just, and then even now it's been 31 years. And I think I posted it on social media. I'll get once in a while, a Twin Peaks fan who wants to connect with me or interview me on his blog, or, ask for an autograph or something like that. So it's really fun.
Okay. So now Dominique has a question, but I'm going to tag it because it fits quite nicely with the next question I was going to ask you. Her question was, at what point, what made you realize there was enough success for everyone, that it didn't have to be a competition? And my question is that, sorry, I thought there was another question, but it wasn't. Okay, so my question is, how did you know you were going to be an actress? At what point were you toddling? I think I want to go back a little bit further. Like, you're in school, did you have like a burning desire to be an actress? Did you, and then, but I don't want to forget Dominique's question, because it looks like there are going to be a lot coming up. So how did you end up where you are doing what you're doing?
So I didn't know that I could be an actor as a career at a young age. I mean, in elementary school, I was in school plays. I was doing plays, and I just thought, this is just part of school, right? It's just, it's a class thing. So I was in school plays. I was a dancer. I love the arts. I was a dancer throughout junior high and high school, and then carried it on to UCLA when I was on the UCLA dance team for 3 years at UCLA, and competed as well, and traveled the world as a team, which was such an amazing experience that I'll never forget. And then it was my senior year. I majored in economics, so I have a BA in economics. I have a business mind. I've always wanted to have a business background, but I took theater classes, so I had to petition into the theater classes at UCLA, and I continued training in dance at UCLA as well. So I'm very much right brain, left brain. I'm 50% right down the middle. Creative, and I'm creative, and then I also am a spreadsheet math person, organized, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when did I decide? My senior year of college, when I was interviewing for jobs, that's when I decided, can I pursue acting as a career? I don't know if I want to sit behind a desk the rest of my life, right?
Yeah.
Doing business. I mean, I love it, but I don't know if that's what I really want to do. And I didn't want to regret not giving it a try. And so I continued training after graduating from UCLA. I studied with Harry Master George for 3 years, and then just dove into theater, and theater became my continuation of my training and acting. So that's when I decided, I would say, I've always loved acting. I have pictures of being in the school play when I was in first grade, second grade, that kind of thing, but never thought I could really pursue it at that. I didn't know it was the career, really. And when I watched TV and films, I didn't put it together that it was a job.
Yeah.
So
okay. So Dominique's question then: when you were in the dance troupe, was it
Dance
called?
team, dance
The
team.
dance team. When you were in the dance team, because I learned that in burlesque, when you're in a team like that and you become so close to your teammates, any thought of competition with your teammates is just a non-thought when you're close. But I don't know, was that the same? Because that would teach you the lesson, or it could go the opposite way.
Yeah, that's a good question. There was definitely competition in general because everyone that was a dancer in high school or a cheerleader in high school, when they went to college, now they're competing and want to be a dancer or a cheerleader in college. So now here at UCLA, 35,000 students, and everyone that's been a cheerleader or a dancer now wants to compete, and there's only 7 spots.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very competitive. So yes, it's competition about being your best, but I never had it in me about trying to, like, I would never trip somebody and get them hurt. You know what I mean? I'm not like that. I'm not wicked like that competitive, but competitive in like, I want to be my best.
Yeah.
And then, so within the 7 of us, we were not competitive within each other. Once we were together, it was very much a collaboration. But I love that you bring up competition because the audiobook industry has been so different than the on-camera. But I want to share something that's really important to me. In the on-camera world, I created a small tip group. In fact, Annie Lee is here with us today. But I created a group of us, 4 Asian American female actors who auditioned for the same things all the time. We became friends and we started sharing audition information. So when our agents would give us an appointment, I'm emailing the group. It's Annie, Emily, and Judy saying, I'm going in for this. And then it's up to them to try to get their appointment. So how it is, yes, there's competition and only one of us is going to get it. But you know what? I see there's still abundance and I see that we're very different from each other. And if I don't get the role, I'd rather my friend get it than someone that I don't know.
And we're stronger together. You have to go within and get that from within. You don't save each other. There's this, we were talking today, Anna and I were talking about the stronger you are, then you're a light that other people can go to. And if you feel, sometimes you feel like you want to help people, so you want to say you commiserate. No, I understand. But then if you bring yourself down, you're not helping pull them up. And you're not helping pull them up by engaging in negativity or insecurity. The only way you can help is be here so that people can meet you when they're ready. Because if you're down here, on people's level, you're not helping anyone. You're not going to grow, they're not going to grow. And that's what you did by forming that group. And actors, I find, they save, I mean, I had a bad experience at a corporate job and I posted on the British Actors Network, which has like, what, 60,000 people. I mean, there were a lot of people. And I was in tears. I had a bad time and I'd been bullied. And this was like the final end of it. And I posted one afternoon and I think like 1,200 people respond, maybe because they're actors and none of them had work at the moment, but 1,200 people or something, a ridiculous amount responded within just a few minutes. And every single one of those messages was like, reach up, reach out of this. You're not, this isn't you, move out. And don't you think that's our job, to pull each other out, up?
Yes. Yes, it takes a special skill. And I learned I call it a shield. So I put a shield. So like when someone is down, a friend is down, I generally repel like from negative energy. I don't like, it's not attractive, right? You don't want to be around, but then you don't want to turn away your friend. So I have this protective shield that I envision about protecting me from that negative energy. And so that I could help raise the energy of my friend that's down. But at the same time, I don't want my friend to ignore any negative feelings. They need to address, yes, they're sad. They're sad because of this. And then instead of spiraling down, once you've acknowledged it, you have that feeling, now let's get you out of it, right? So it's important to acknowledge it and not to ignore your negative feelings as well. You need to know, yes, you're having negative feelings and maybe understand why, but then don't spiral and stay in it, because then it's unproductive and it could be harmful And so it's really just about getting out of it. And that's how friends could help each other, by having that shield so that you both don't get down, right?
Yeah.
Having that shield to protect yourself, and then helping your friend raise their energy, raise their vibration, to a better place, you know?
And that's where accountability partners can help. That's after the call with Anna today. It's lifting, it's reminding you of, because I have this like image of like the more joy, because when you're a kid, you do things for joy, right? For the pure
Right.
fun of it. And then when you stop doing that because you don't want to be selfish, you have to like do the shoulds and the must do's and the have to's, you lose the time for joy. So after the call with Anna, I went online and bought a big, massive autumn puzzle that reminded me of one I had when I was 10 years old, and some
Ah,
yarn that I've been wanting to crochet a poncho. And like, it made me happy. And so being a happy person, I know people think things like that are shallow and you have to spend your entire life like giving and everything, but you don't have enough in the well, do you? If you're not filling your own energy. I love the idea of a shield. I think that's a brilliant idea, because I don't do that. I soak things up and I tend to get easily. I love that. I love that. They say for people that are too easily affected by other people, sensitive people that are easily affected by other people, they say that you need to, there's exercises people do. And a lot of religions have exercises like that, where
mm-hmm.
you visualize, you know, it's a strength. You meditate, you have you ground yourself first, right?
Right.
And then you put a shield up, not a
Yeah.
negative shield, but it's your
Think of
strength.
it like a Wonder Woman shield, you know, a shield. Seriously, it's a superpower. It's a shield. It's a positive thing. It's a shield that so that you could protect yourself, but at the same time, help your friend. So you're not absorbing the negative energy. And it's so important. It's part of self-care and self-love. And for you to stay happy too, because I mean, we don't do enough things for ourselves, and things that make us happy, things that made us happy as a child. I had this conversation with Elise Arsenault in a room about I remember as a child rolling down a grassy hill at the park. When was the last time have you seen an adult roll down a hill, right? And I think recently me and my husband, I mean, we did that, and it was just something fun to do, that and creative things, like things that you call a coloring book. Now they have adult coloring books, but you could color in a children's coloring book. The things that bring you happiness, bring creativity. And I mean, especially with the pandemic, my husband and I, we wanted to keep our creativity. So we would have our creative days, and we would either paint or do music, or one time we just actually played some of our vinyls and we danced in our living room. But like whatever it is, just find different things that bring happiness to you. Make the time to do it, because we get so busy with work and things, you know, we busy ourselves, and then we're overwhelmed, we're tired, we're stressed. And I just think self-care is so important, and we have to remind ourselves to make ourselves important.
Because there's just as many good things in the world at all times, that like the news isn't going to tell you the good things, because they want you to tune into the news, and the sense of self-preservation is what gets you there. And like I've been going online, and there's so much right now, because I think other people's energy, people have a tough time, but there's so many great things out there, isn't there? And
Yes.
you forget. I think that's why people are happiest when they have little kids, when they're, you know, little, because you get to live through their eyes again.
Right. Or stressed because they're not getting any sleep.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We do have a quirky question. Lynn is off to Bloomingdale's after this call.
Okay.
And Initra has said that it's like the shield thing is like Reiki. I'm going to try that after this call. I don't know what it is. I've heard of it.
So Reiki, I'm actually, I'm certified first degree as a Reiki master. It's a healing, it's like healing yourself, protecting yourself. So I'm a spiritual person, I'm an energy person, but yes, it's very much like Reiki.
Is it is it like massage, or is it like Kung Fu?
No, it's nothing physical. It's more about energy. Reiki is healing with the hands, and you know, maybe Anetra could explain it more, because I'm a more beginner as in the Reiki.
I'm so going to check it out after this. I like the idea. I've heard of it before. Okay, Barbara, quirky question. You get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it?
One song that I listen to for the rest of my life. Oh my gosh. I can't even, let's see.
Yeah,
it would have to be a happy.
Barbara always gets us on this one. You want me to give
It
you
would
time to
have
think about this one and come back to
Yeah,
it?
maybe. Yeah, it would have to be definitely a happy song because, like, a lot of the times in the morning, I'll go down and I'll say, Alexa, play happy music. That's what I'll say, and then it'll be on the playlist, you know. But yeah, let me think about that,
Okay,
and then
you're
I'll get
gonna
back to you. But it'll
hold that
definitely be a
one.
happy song for sure.
And I've got another one from
Okay.
Tina. Who, past or present, would you take on a platonic dream date? Where would you go? What would you eat or drink?
Ooh. Who would I go on a platonic dream date? And where would we go and what would we eat? Where would we go? I'll answer that first. Italy, because that's my favorite place. Italy, Florence, and specifically Florence, Italy. And what would we eat? We would eat Italian food. It would have to be either, I mean, their pasta and pizza is so different than here. And then of course
here, and the UK so close to Italy, like, why can't you get it right?
You know,
the water must be different.
The water, the flour, everything in Italy is different, and even the wine. So like even here in LA, I'll look for wine. It's got to be from Italy or France, you know, but I look for Italian wine or France. So that's where we would go. That's what we would eat. Who would it be with? Let's see. Is it corny to say my husband? But then that's not platonic, is it? Let's see. So but like, I guess it should be someone that I would never meet, like someone like a dream, like a dream like date, but platonic.
Or,
yeah. Someone who
like your favorite writer, or
who would that be? Or an idol, or someone that I look up to, someone that I wonder if
like Lucille Ball, she would be a fun date.
Yeah. No, and she's so talented and her life is so interesting. Yeah. I mean, I grew up on I Love Lucy. I mean, I watched
too. I could have sworn she was like an aunt or something. Did you not feel like she was part of your family?
Yes. Like, yeah, I mean, she's so likable. I mean, she is just amazing. And I didn't appreciate her skill till I was older and as an actor, right? Because the comedic skill she had. And but yeah, because as a kid, I just watched her and I just thought she was hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. I'll think about that one too.
Yeah, we're gonna have a whole bunch of questions. She's taking notes. Okay, Andre says that that you've shown strengths as a coach, and what principles are important to you in those kinds of guidance positions like coaching or directing? Because I know you were doing some directing. What parts of your background influenced how you are in those roles? I'd love to hear about your directing and how you find it and what you've learned through it, and tell us about directing.
So I worked with Kevin MacLeod at Macmillan. I think he's here, but I'm not sure if he's at a session, but he's here for about 6 months. He's a producer at Macmillan, and you know, we've gotten to know each other really well. He's gotten to know me as a narrator. Oh yes, he's here. And he was the one who really saw it in me. We talked about coaching, we talked about directing. And he asked me basically, Jennifer, have you ever thought about directing? You know, I think you would be really good. And I would never have considered that without him really telling me. And
did you ever coach in dancing or anything else in any of your other lives?
Yes, I was a choreographer. So in that sense, yes, teaching in that sense, but not a dance teacher, but I loved to choreograph. So when you choreograph and, you know, in the dance team, if I'm the one who choreographed the routine, then I have to teach the routine to the rest of the group, but never as a formal dance teacher or anything like that. And never really as a coach, although I liked to help friends with auditions, like on camera auditions, but never, and I never directed. Like my husband directs theater and readings and stuff like that, but I never thought about doing that. So anyways, I learned, I mean, I had some really great training with Callum about directing. And one of the things was, I listened to auditions, like 14 audiobook narrator auditions. And he said, I want you to write notes and cast it. Right. So I wrote my notes, and I won't get all to the details, but it was so on point with Callum that who I decided to cast. It was so on point. Callum basically said, if you were interviewing right now today for a producer position at Macmillan, I would hire you. So it was such a wonderful compliment. And
see, this moment, can I tell you, this moment, this goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of this call. This right here, I don't think, sometimes we don't realize our own unique gifts. And what you just did right there, this happened to me. I was so excited. Callum gave me a great compliment, and I deserved it because I delivered the goods, and I'm good at this. And you took joy in being good at it. That's what a little kid does. That's what's taken out of it. That's what people lose when they get older. And that's what's unique about you, that you take joy in the things you do well. And that makes you stronger and able to take those things and go off and do more things well. And you don't do it because you don't have any bad feelings about it. It doesn't take away from anyone else. And if we could all learn to be that strong in ourselves and just take, this is what I've done. Wow. Wasn't it great? And you could see the excitement in your eyes. You were like, Callum gave me this chance. It was great. And I bet for Callum working with you, that was rewarding. Because how wonderful to work with someone that can shine, loves to shine, and that is excited and proud about themselves after they shine. I think if we all did that with everything we did, the world would be our oyster. I mean, all the other stuff is just social media stuff, but it's you do the book and shine, and every book we should be proud of. I hear narrators say they won't go back and they won't listen to their work. You should be proud of it. This is a gift you're giving to the world. Okay, I've stopped you. Sorry. I find it so refreshing that you don't self-deprecate. You do what you do the best you can, and then you allow yourself to be proud of it and enjoy it. What are we here for? If we're narrating all these books and then we're not proud of them, and we're going on looking at people's reviews and, oh God, that must mean it must be something about me as a person. You narrate the book because you love it, and then you get excited afterwards. And then people like Callum are excited because look at what a wonderful, amazing thing he's done in his job by giving you this chance and helping you shine.
Yes, absolutely. And I realized just how much I enjoyed it. And I really see it as being of service. Like I'm helping, if I'm directing an author, I'm helping that author just be comfortable and feel safe and make it conversational and make it the best, really to serve the book as best as possible. And then word got around that Callum was training me, and then a producer at Hachette texted me and said, so word is going around that you started directing audiobooks. Is that true? And I said, yes. And then the person knows Callum, and they're like, Callum is the bomb. So she started hiring me. So I started directing for Hachette, and then Callum also had me direct for Macmillan. And it was just a lot of fun. And I learned, and I continue to learn so much being on the other side, and I think everything that I'm learning is helping me be a better narrator as well. Yeah. And it's been really amazing. And the same thing with coaching. I think Andre's question was about, what was his question about the skills in coaching or coaching and directing?
Was
your background.
What principles are important for you in those kinds of guidance positions like coaching or directing? And what parts of your background influenced how you are? Because Sean Pratt said that. They always say that if you coach by teaching other people, then you can achieve mastery. You can't become a master until because you're taking the internal learning and you're turning it around, and to teach it, you have to see it from a different perspective. So by directing, you're refining your skills in narrating.
Absolutely. That's what I was experiencing. I was experiencing, oh, I could apply this to my narration, right? Same thing with coaching. I could apply this to whether it's speed dating, my speed dating pitch, or reaching out to publishers, or how do I communicate to publishers, basically to hire me, but not make it so obviously like that,
Yeah.
But I think my desire, so my background is probably in my I'm always wanting to help. Always, like, it's just an instant thing, and I love to celebrate other people and raise them up. So that I think that part of me, ever since I was a kid, is probably part of how I'm kind of naturally going into coaching and directing, because both was not something, it was not anywhere in my plans of 2021 to coach and direct. So that really took me by surprise. And I'm just so glad and grateful that I did, and that, crossed those paths, because I really do enjoy it.
I have a question.
Yes.
That seems to be a theme in your life, that like nothing you end up doing has been like a long-term plan. Are you a person that just follows your gut and your instinct and goes from one thing or another, or do you make grand plans and then end up doing something entirely different?
That's a really good question, looking at my life. But I think what it is once I decide I want to do something, I fully commit. So when I decided that I wanted to take this audiobook narration course, which is the Great Audiobook Adventure, taught by Elise Arsenault. So she's my coach and also my mentor. I decided I'm going to make this a priority. And I was saying no to other things so that I could really focus on honing my craft in narration. And I still do. I'm still making it a priority, because it's only been since February that I started working. I'm still very new. So I'm still focusing. So I would say it wasn't like I've always wanted to be an audiobook narrator. I made the decision in June of 2020 and then fully committed. And I think that's kind of whatever it is I decide to do, I fully commit and then arrange my schedule to make it a priority.
So where did you meet your husband? Eyes meet across a crowded room.
We met at the theater. We met at East West Players Theater. He's
in the
also
production together?
No, actually, we were just both in the same theater company, at East West Players. It's the first Asian American theater company in the nation, in the United States. And so we met, and when we first initially met, he was with someone else, I was with someone else, and I think 2 or 3 years later we crossed paths again, and then we started dating, and then we got married in Hawaii on the beach.
Very
and then we just did something really simple with our immediate family, and then had a big post-reception party back when we got back in LA. But yeah, my husband's here. His name is Kip. Some of the audiobook adventure narrators know him, because
I love that. Well, the only reason I asked was because somebody, when you were talking about the platonic friend in Italy, one of your friends said, "Careful, your husband's here."
That's funny.
Quirky question. What's something? Barbara's not giving up on you because we still don't have the song. What's something you should throw out but just can't?
Ooh, you know what? I'm very much a memento person. So I have, even though all our photos are digital now, but I actually have photo albums from like when my daughter was a baby, those kind of things. Even though I could digitalize them, it's hard. I just can't throw those away, so I have them.
If you digitalize, back up. I just lost all my photos.
Oh, no, you lost.
Yeah, back up.
They couldn't get it back, Daniela?
No, back up. That's everyone. Back up. Yeah. Okay. So tell me more. So you're a narrator now, and you love it. And what is your process in the booth? What lessons are you learning about because I find, where do you go back to the talk about energy? Energy fascinates me because of everything, being a freelancer, managing the business, managing the marketing, managing the time in the booth. managing your energy is everything in this job, because I think I'm a firm believer that when we get in there, we have to disappear completely and, create a seamless experience for the writer. What do you do to manage your energy? Are you just really good at cutting things off and being in the booth, or do you have any rituals, or what do you do to make sure that you're showing up and doing the job?
I do. It's all pretty much structured and planned once I have the book and have prepped it. But I'm a morning person, so I record in the morning early. Like in LA, I'm up 4:30. I'm recording.
Okay, that annoys me. All the other stuff about
but
it's obnoxious.
But I get my 8 hours of sleep. I go to bed early to get my 8 hours, and that's when I'm, and so, but I record until about 8. But then and that's because it's quiet. So I have a blanket booth. It's quieter. It's really quiet. And to me, I don't want to worry about noise later in the day. And it just works out perfect. So I choose, first of all, I only choose my goal is to do 1 or 2 audiobooks a month. I know there's narrators that are amazingly doing 1 book a week. Yeah, that's not me.
But I love that you said that. You said that on that other call, and I find that refreshing, because we feel shamed and I've got to tell you, I went through a stage where I was like literally lucky if I brushed my teeth, but I would make sure I turned it on in the booth, and literally, no matter how many books I recorded, somebody would then post, "I just did 65 books last week," and I'd be like, how? You have kids, you have a family. I literally just record.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I know, and it's amazing, and I respect that, but I think everyone's different. Everyone's schedule's different. Everyone's lives are different. So I try to balance everything. So yes, I still work on camera, so I have to balance on camera auditions, other voiceover auditions. I also have a production company where I collaborate with writers and produce film. And then I also have a health and wellness business that I have 60 clients that I work with a little bit every day on that business that I've had for 15 years. So that's why I said, you know what, I want to do audiobook narration, but I chose to do 1 to 2 books a month. That means I could record 2 to 3 hours in the morning, and that's it. And I do it early, 5 to 8, something like that. Wow. And then I have the rest of the day to do other things in my life.
How is your voice that early, though? How is your voice good that early?
I don't know. I've always been a morning person, so I don't have that morning croaky voice, but I do warm up. I do vocal warm up. So it's not like I wake up and jump straight to the booth. So
Anitra's asking this. I hope I'm saying her name right. Anitra. She's asking the same thing that I want to know. Do you take naps?
Do I take naps? I say no, but I'm for naps, because naps is a healthy thing. I'll tell myself, so I'll tell myself, I'll take a nap, but then I end up not taking a nap. So I'm just trying to be honest. I'm pro nap because naps are good for you. Sometimes I might take a nap once in a while, but I just get so busy and I end up not, but I get my 8 hours of sleep. So it's not like I'm tired and forcing myself to be awake.
What time do you go to bed at night?
So when I do get up really early, 8:30 to 9. So that's if I really want to get up early to record. But then if I have an evening event, then whatever it is, if I go to bed at midnight, then I make sure I still get my 8 hours of sleep and get up at 8. So I just have to schedule it that way. I make sleep a priority. So it's like my number one priority. So I always, if I know that I have to wake up at a certain time, I just make sure that I start to wind down about 30 to 45 minutes before I need to be asleep.
Okay, so somebody just commented, so we all agree that we want to be Jennifer when we grow up. And I would have said that until somebody else mentioned that Jennifer doesn't drink coffee. So going to bed at 8:30 ever and not drinking coffee is
First of all,
a goal for me.
First of all, I love coffee. I love coffee. But I don't drink it to wake up. I drink it because I like the taste. I like coffee ice cream. I like coffee candy, but I don't need coffee like in the morning or anything like that. But I love coffee.
Right. That's not the same thing. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about, very, very important. And actually, you made me think of something for myself, because I have a massive work ethic. I mean, it's part of my personality. Like, I remember being like 9 and like making my little sister stay out in the cold because we had to do like 100 and something perfect jump ropes. And if we missed one, you had to keep going, start over from scratch. So that's like my brain. But something I missed, which should be very, very obvious. Somebody on the call was talking about awards or how they weren't doing what they had wanted to do. And you were like, you have to ask for the things you want. Put yourself for, because a lot of people are like, well, how can somebody just have a few books and suddenly they're working for publishers? Well, you have to, like, are you sending emails to publishers every 6 to 8 weeks? Are you sending, I'm good with the publishers just because I love sending emails to people. I'm obnoxious that way, but the awards, not so much. I've stopped and thought about it. It's been 5 years and I've never once put myself up for an award. And a writer wanted to put a book we'd done up for an award and I talked her out of it.
Why? Why?
Because I always hated like the award ceremonies. When I was a little kid, awards were just something that like preempted my normal TV scheduling and a whole bunch of people standing up there congratulating themselves. So I've got a bad, like, but there's nothing wrong with them. It's people having fun, dressing up. What's wrong with that? And and every time they come out and 800 people are talking about their 8 million awards, and you're not a human being if you don't go, oh my God, I'm killing myself. What am I doing wrong? Every single time it happens, I just mute them now. But, but when you said that, it made me think, why have I never tried for one? Or even put anything through for an audiobook review. Never once put myself out there. And I've never wanted it or thought about it, but you got to stop and ask yourself, what are we doing in our job, or what are we not asking for other reasons, because of like fears or stories we told ourselves? Do you know what I mean? You really impressed me when you said that. Tell me more about, you're not going to get what you want without asking for it.
I think for the longest time, I was afraid to ask for help because I'm supposed to be independent and I'm supposed to be, have the impression that I have everything together and things like that. So I think it's part of just being humble too, about asking for help and knowing what you want and then putting it out into the universe that that's what you want. And you do need to write it down. It's just same thing like, writing your goals. We just did this whole Dream Big, Plan Smart challenge. And I do believe that I have a vision board that I have in front of me every day that I look at. I'm a visual person, and I'm very intentional.
Okay, so I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you on this. Okay. Specifically because the Cup of Joe, we had a summer school challenge and we did the vision boards and the visualizations, and we taped ourselves telling ourselves what we had achieved as if we were looking back at our goals from last year. It was amazing for a month when we did it. But there is a deeper, and I think it goes to what you said with like the shield and the energy. If you've got an energy that's still holding on to old stories, then the new things, because recently there's the BJ Fogg idea of the first thing you do in the morning when you get out of bed, you put your feet on the ground, you say, today is going to be a wonderful day out loud. The I want to say Mel Brooks, but I think I'm wrong. Mel Robbins or something. High five yourself in the mirror. And it gives you a subconscious idea. The mantra thing. At what point are those just pastes? Because there's got to be some energy work and belief to make those things stick.
Absolutely.
what's the secret ingredient to the belief in your mind?
I think a lot of that stuff doesn't work without belief, right? Because if you're high-fiving yourself, if you're saying today's going to be a great day, but don't really believe it, guess what? The energy knows whether that you're being honest and have that whether or not you really believe it or not. And so that's the hard thing, because we always have self-doubt. We have those doubts of, are we worthy? Are we enough? Do we deserve this? Right? But you have to believe it, that you do deserve it. And that takes time. That whole thing with belief and everything with personal growth, it does take time for you to really believe that you deserve it. If I didn't believe I deserved to be an audiobook narrator, I don't think I would have started working as much as and continued to work as much as I did. You have to really want something and really ask yourself, do I want it? And if you want it, you have to believe that you deserve it. That's the thing. If you're fighting yourself if you don't have that belief in yourself, right? And then the comparison is always tough too. Don't compare yourself with other people, because everyone has their different path and their different journeys, and everyone have had different background and different skills. People don't know that I had 15 years of networking, marketing, and sales skills before. So all of that stuff that I learned, and also personal growth. I mean, I went to seminars and personal growth. So all my inner work was already in place when I started pursuing audiobook
There's
narration.
a lot, and that's what they say about toxic positivity. It's like, there's a lot going on under the surface, but that doesn't mean that you can't do that too, get that. Because I noticed after the summer school, a lot of narrators, some of them were messaging me going, oh my God, this has come true. This has come true. And that's great. We all did that. I lived in LA for my formative years, like most of my life. And you do even down to, I can visualize my parking space at Ralph's.
Yep.
And lo and behold, it's there. And there's no doubt in my mind that works. But
oh my gosh, it's fun. It's a game. I mean, we do it all the time.
But the same
we manifest parking spaces all the time. We manifest winning raffles all the time. I mean, it's so fun. Yeah.
And it's like the details, and if you write, and in writing things down, you write the 3 goals down in the morning, longhand, it's like magic. It is like magic. That stuff does work, but it's the belief underneath. And I think the key to protecting the belief is to keeping that high energy. And I'm thinking the key to that high energy is you love things you love for a reason. I like crocheting. I like doing thrillers. I love the things I love for a reason. So just do them. Just have fun. Just
do everything to help you stay in that high vibration, that higher energy. I call it high vibration, whether it's putting on clothes that make you feel good, your surroundings. What does your work environment look like? Is it clutter, or is it things that make you feel good? The makeup, colors, right?
Fur. I know people think I'm a nutcase, and when I first started, people were like, why do you put makeup on before every call? Why do you get? I'm like, I do it because I love to. Are we not actors? Do we not dress up? I dress up when I'm narrating a thriller. I dress up. I did an apocalypse. I don't even want to tell you what my costume for that was. But we got to play the games, I think. I mean, nobody in the world understands that better than actors.
Yes. Have fun. I mean, everything around you, surround yourself with whatever, what was Marie Kondo's book, right? Surround yourself that brings you joy, things you wear, things you just your environment, things you do on a daily basis that bring happiness and joy. You have to make that time to do it. So when you're at a higher vibration, then things come your way, good things that you want, things that you're asking for, whether it's work or winning something, or I don't know, it could be just anything positive. I mean, it could surprise you, so
people. I understand that COVID was a bad thing, and I get that quarantine was awful and everyone hated it. I had the best year of my life. I mean,
that's so amazing.
And it wasn't just because I had an excuse not to exercise or leave the house. It was the friends I made. I did Just Keep Dancing with Gina Rogers. I became her friend, and I was like, oh my God, the cool girl came on Cup of Joe. And like Andy and the Cup of Joe people, and the conversations and the times and the memories. And when I finally got the guts to start emailing the publishers, the friends I made were the publishers.
Yeah.
You know, not just the books, which is the whole purpose of the emailing, but the friends you make are what I'm always going to remember about COVID and the quarantine. The friends and the online classes and the food. But, but besides that, but those things are the things we remember. We don't remember the boring, you know, all the things, the shoulds and the must. Nobody wants to. You want to hear somebody tell you a story in your ear while you're, you know, listening to an audiobook at night with somebody that like had to get this done because the deadline was coming up. You know, that's why I love that Johnny Heller, because when he narrates, the joy of what he's doing comes through in his narration. And I love that.
Yes.
I think if we could bottle joy,
yeah,
we could sell it. You know what I mean?
That's so interesting. When you were talking about that, Daniela, it made me realize if it wasn't for the pandemic, I don't know if I would be an audiobook narrator.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because it was, you know, because film and TV productions stopped, and I wanted to stay acting and be creative. And I took a free master class that Elise Arsenault was giving, and I learned about audiobook narration. I was doing voiceover work, animation and commercial, but I never really thought about audiobook narration. And it came up and I started, it was in June of 2020. So I don't know if it would ever be in my path now that I think about it. So I'm really grateful for the pandemic in that sense.
I think there are so many things. I think it wouldn't hurt all of us now that it feels, yes, if you listen to the news, it feels like things are going on. And I think it wouldn't hurt us all to look at the things we've gained and how we've grown in the last year. I mean, personally, I love Zoom. I was living my best life. You know what I mean? And the amount of people that I've learned lessons from in this industry, God, we've pulled together like nothing you've ever seen. The people, the generosity, and the people that I've seen help each other. And I think the bad times and the fear and the scarcity and the worry, we couldn't have grown as much or become as close if it weren't for those times, because it's in time of need that we're at our best, that we help each other, that we step up. I think in the whole world, we're stronger because we had to be. And I love that. I love that. I do. I mean, I'm still going to whine and complain about things, but yes, I will eventually start walking and leave the booth sometimes. So, okay, so ask for what you want. Don't be self-deprecating. Don't apologize. And I love the energy idea. I'm going to look into Reiki. I love that idea. So what's in your future? More, actually, I'm running out of time. I have the most important question of all. And then you have to tell us the song forever and the platonic date, because I've got both Tina and Barbara looking at me going, we're not letting her off the hook. But if we're going to, you know, when you're in school and they put that little lock box, they bury it so that it's going to be dug up in 20 years and you put something important in it, anything, something you want to leave people with, the YouTube audience that's going to watch this in 60 years, a joke. What would you like to leave people with that they would remember Jennifer by?
I would say, because I'm an energy person, I would have to say, stay in your high vibration. Definitely. And how do you raise your vibration? And that's, is do things that bring you joy, surround yourself with things that make you happy. I know a lot of people, they don't like to toot their own horn, so they don't want to celebrate themselves. So how you could raise your vibration is by celebrating others. So when someone else, has a celebration, celebrate and lift them up, and that will bring your vibration up. And hopefully you'll get used to celebrating your wins yourself. So I'm always encouraging people to celebrate your wins, big or small. It could be like the tiniest thing, but when you celebrate, you're in this higher vibration, and then you're attracting more good things, to you, things that you want, things that you're asking for yourself. And it could be meeting people that cross your path that you might have never met. And I really believe in that. There's, I think we meet people in our paths intentionally. There's a reason, right? And so yeah, I would say that. I would say stay in your high vibration. And since I'm an energy person, that's something that I always encourage people to try to do. I know it's hard, but if you make it a habit on a daily basis, then it becomes habit, and you don't have to think so hard or try so hard to do it.
But if you're having fun buying puzzles, those are all paths in.
Yes.
And that's not hard. That's actually fun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got Botox. I was so excited. It made me so happy. It was like, it started off as a feeling bad. Everyone's had to hear about it like every week since, because I realized I had like 25,000, we're almost at 26,000 now, guys, hits on my YouTube channel. And my first thought, though, in this, world, my first thought was, oh my God, that means 25,000 people have looked at this line right here. So I went running off in a moment of insecurity, but it turned into like, this is really fun and like pampering. And I had so much fun. I was so excited. So I think we can either look at it as, oh my God, I'm not doing well, or we can be like, I want to do more of that. I do. I want to have fun.
Yes.
We don't have to be like fool of ourselves, because that's what people think. Oh, I can't. But let's celebrate ourselves.
Yes. And you know what? I encourage people to make a list, because we forget. Make a list of things that you did for fun as a child, and try to do them, and then things that are fun for you now, because we forget, or we get so busy with work or family or other responsibilities. Make a list so that and have it with you all the time, and say, you know what, and so that it's so easy to come up with, I'm going to do this, this, and this today, or whatever it is, this, I'm going to do this week. So that when you have that list, it's a reminder to do things that bring you joy.
Own voice. Oh my God, you're a genius, because that's what it is. Society has been telling us, sending us messages for years I blame the Puritans, I do, sorry. But the whole live on nothing, life is hard work kind of thing. That's the message we've gotten. But you've got a voice. It was your own voice. And if you write, and if you forget it sometimes, you do it. That's a great idea. You write it down. That's your voice. I think if we listen to our own voice more. And Lynn, by the way, I'm right with you on the shopping. That's pure joy.
Shopping, shopping makes you happy.
Exactly. Some of us got it down to a science. So. Yeah, no, I love that, because that enables you to be, this is my voice. Even all the positive memes and I'm going to post this message up in the booth, that's somebody else's voice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make a list of what I like, what I want to do and have fun with.
Yeah. Because it could be different for someone else. So yes, you have to find what makes you happy, what works for you, right?
Because it was given to you for a reason. You were I believe that we're all who we were when we were 10 years old. I do. I think that's when we were perfect. I mean, we might have had weird lives at the time, but when you're 10, you know who you are. Song?
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Listen to one song the rest of your life.
Let me see.
Favorite album.
What?
Your favorite album. If it's a song. It's a single song, it's too hard.
Okay, so I love I'm
Barbara's
an
letting
old
you off the hook there, because she's normally
I'm an old 90s, like I love 90s rock. So, gosh, I mean, I took my daughter to Metallica a couple of years ago. I'm a Guns N' Roses person. So yeah, I mean, to me, that brings me back. I mean, it brings me back to that happy childhood too, when I could just play Guns and I have the vinyl of Guns N'
I'm
Roses.
thinking,
The
didn't
most
he do that? Didn't they do that song? I would have loved her, but I had to shoot her. And now she's buried under my house. Isn't that Guns N' Roses? It's a good song. I don't know if I'd have it for the rest of my life. Am I getting that right? I used to love her, but I had to kill her. Yeah, that's Guns N' Roses, right?
I think someone corrected me. It was either 80s, I think 80s and 90s, the rock, like back then. Yeah, for sure.
And
like I listened
Platonic Date.
You know, now that someone mentioned an author, so I have a favorite book. It's called The Four Agreements, and it's written by Don Miguel Ruiz, and it's a book that I like to read 2 to 3 times a year. It's next to my bed on my nightstand, and I think I'm a happier person because of the 4 agreements. And so I recommend go to the library or listen to the audiobook or it's changed my life so that I'm a happier person. Right. Do you know that? Do you know it, Daniela? Do you know the book?
Well, I do know it. And I also am very aware of the compare-a-night, but don't compare yourself, because I'm thinking what's by my bedside. And it's like Stephen King. I like if it doesn't lead with blood.
But that brings you joy. That brings you happiness, right? Yeah, so that's what should be by your bed.
Much.
You know.
No, I do, but I do know that book. Very, very good. I love that. I
would love to pick his brain, like, and as far as how did he come up with I mean, they're simple things, but I love how he presents it in the book, and it's such an easy read, and it's been so influential in my life. I would say maybe Don Miguel Ruiz.
Okay, and in Italy, and what are you eating?
We're Italian food, so pasta, pizza. Like, I love Italian food. I mean, I do.
Okay, Tina approves.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Tina.
Jennifer, it has been a pure joy, as I knew it would be. You are a force to be reckoned with, and I'm so, so happy. You are one of the good things. Having met you is one of the wonderful things about the pandemic.
Oh, thank you so much, Daniela. It's an honor for me for you asking me to be part of Narrator's Cup of Joe. I love the interviews, how just casual and how just meaningful things that do come up, and I just love your interviews, and I'm just so glad I got to know you too, because we met again at the Voiceover Network panel, right, Daniela?
Yeah.
And I wanted to say something. When I saw that your name was misspelled, because I noticed that your name is Daniela spelled with 1 L, but Acitelli has 2 L's.
Yeah.
So when I saw that it was misspelled, that's important. People's names are important. Yeah. And when I saw that it was misspelled, I let them know right away. And then I said, I'm going to fix it myself so I could post it correctly.
I love that you did that. And to be honest, from that day on, I've actually gone and followed my instinct and done things like that since then. That moment just made me realize, hold on, that's like a fault, and I'm quite good at that. Hold on, that's a stupid story. I don't know where I got that from. I don't do it anymore. Now, if something needs to be fixed, I just fix it.
Especially if it doesn't take much effort and it's something really easy. And I wanted to get the word out about it too.
Yeah.
Right?
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was brilliant and perfect that you did it. And yeah, it was.
And I didn't really know you that well. That's how we got to know each other really after that panel. But It was like, I knew who you were. But yeah, it was just, I'm just so glad to have met you, Daniela.
But that's you put yourself out in the world with the energy that you choose to have. And I was attracted to you because of that energy. I think if you have good energy, it's going to attract other people that are attracted to good energy. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, and good things as well. I wanted to take the time to also thank everyone that showed up today. I just seen people here, Marnie, Stacy, Barbara, Cassidy, Dom, Lynn, Burke, Tina, Rhett,
Yeah, there were
Deanna,
24
I mean, so many
so you're
people. I
gonna
mean, and also, you know, because also some of you I just met recently, and I just love the supportive community, and I love meeting new people, and I also love helping people too. So I just want to thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to get to know you more as well. You know, since
Yes.
yeah.
Everything, you're on such a path. Your energy is just pure joy. We will work on the getting up that early and not having any coffee. But
if you're a
besides
night person,
that, you're
but
perfect.
if you're a night person, then you should record at night. You know what I mean? It's like
I go to
whatever
bed by
works
like
for you.
3 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, but if that's your body cycle and that works for you, then do that. Because then
Yeah.
if you force yourself to do something that your body is not natural, you're not going to be happy, right?
Yeah.
If it's not easy for you to get up early in the morning, you're going to be an unhappy person in the morning.
Yeah, you literally, I did try, because all those circadian rhythm people, I did try. And I have my 6 espressos every morning.
Wow.
So I don't think I need it to wake me up, but I've never done without it, so I wouldn't know, would I? But yeah, and Barbara said the same. My voice won't allow me to record before 10 a.m. But we learn the hard way when we start this job, don't we? Because I bet, Barbara, did you ever try to record before 10? Yeah.
Yes, unless they want something really gravelly, it's not going to work.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, we must end. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Jennifer, say something so you show up on the screen real quick.
Oh, here.
Yep,
Hello.
there you go. Jennifer, thank you very much. It's been amazing. Thank you everyone for joining. It's been wonderful. Take care, you guys. Bye.
Thanks, Daniela. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.